How to get SEO clients fast in 2019. What's up, guys? Chris M. Walker, Superstar SEO and Legiit here. Before we get into today's video, can you do me a favor and click the subscribe button and the notification bell so you get alerted every single day we have videos? Or every single time we put out a new video. We put out one every Wednesday, and then we usually do a live Q&A on Fridays. So go ahead and subscribe to that. So in today's video, we're going to talk about how to get SEO clients for your agency. More specifically, how to prospect, meaning where to find them and what to look for and things like that. And then what methods you're going to use to actually talk to them and get them to sign up with you. So I hope that you'll enjoy that. It's going to be a pretty lengthy video, but it's really great information for anybody that's looking to grow their agency, make some money with SEO. And this is by far the fastest way to go from having zero to having some income from SEO. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. So before we get too far into this, I just want to say that I'm going to cover a bunch of different methods that you can use to prospect for SEO clients, meaning ways to find them, where to find them, and how to do it, and then some ways to actually do the outreach and kind of sell to them. Now, I'm just kind of going to give an overview of each one. It's not going to be in depth on any particular one. If you want a video on any particular method that I talk about in this video, just let me know and I'll put that together for you as well. So without further ado, let's dive into it. So the first thing you need to do, and the most important part of getting SEO clients or signing SEO clients or however you want to put it, is prospecting. And for whatever reason, people tend to overlook this or not want to do this or whatever. But the more time you spend upfront analyzing your target niche and your clients and finding people that are going to be good fits for what the SEO services that you offer, the more likely you are to close them and the less you're going to have to work when you're actually talking to them. So basically you want to create a profile of them and kind of use that in your sales call or your email or whatever we're going to talk about. So the first part of the place that we're going to look to find SEO clients is LinkedIn. Now, the reason we want to go to LinkedIn is pretty self-explanatory. It's a social media, but it's a business site. So there's a very specific way you want to go about it. And then there's some tools you can use as well. So let's hop over to LinkedIn and kind of just take a glance at it. Before we head over to LinkedIn, one thing we want to look at is, or have ready beforehand, is what I call a client prospecting workbook. And this is like a Google sheet that I created that kind of helps me. And I'll actually leave a link to this for you so you can download a copy of it and use it yourself. But basically, this is pretty straightforward, right? As you're going through and you're finding prospects, you just want to put in the information you gather about them. So you'll have something to refer back to, and you won't have to go hunting for it and searching for it. And it'll just be kind of there for you when you're ready to start doing your actual outreach. So I'm going to be using that throughout what we do today. And yeah, just wanted to show you that before we get into it. So let's jump over to LinkedIn. So the first thing you want to do on LinkedIn is optimize your profile to call out the target niche that you're going to go after. Lay it out in a way that's going to appeal to them and establish your authority as someone in that particular field to begin with. And we're here on my friend Mandy's profile, and I show hers because she's really, really fantastic at this, at setting up her profile that way. And you can see it's increasing revenues for healthcare companies via high converting lead generation funnels. Now, she's not doing SEO, so it's slightly different, but you want to start with your headline and have something that's very, very specific for what you do and who you do it for. So that's kind of a good example of that. And then as you can scroll down the page, you can show the skills. There's a lot of different ways you can lay out your profile, but you want to put articles and activity that you have, your experience. But I like to use hers because it's just really, really well laid out. It's as much a landing page as it is her online resume, which is what a lot of people use LinkedIn for. And you need to think of it like as a sales page that proves your authority and that you have the skill to do what it is you're going to do or what you say you're going to do. So hers is always just a great example I like to use for that. So give her check out her stuff, modgirlmarketing.com and so on. So shout out to Mandy if you're watching this. Now, if you're going to be serious about using LinkedIn for your client prospecting, I recommend that you sign up for Sales Navigator. It's expensive, but it's worth it. I think it's like $89 a month or something like that. But it's totally worth it. So once you enter Sales Navigator, you're going to come up here to search and search for lead. And you're going to put in a keyword like dental. We'll add a location. Let's say Milwaukee. I don't know why I'm going with Milwaukee, but that's where we're going. Let's just do Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Then I like to come over to title and put in things like owner, let's say CEO, and maybe even dentist. But basically, you're picking people that will be the decision maker when you get to their particular, when you go out to reach out to them. You can also do some other things when they join LinkedIn, groups, tags, keywords, but you don't want to filter this down too much because you can see we're already down to only 219. I say only, but down to 219. You don't want to filter this down to the point that you don't get enough leads. But from there, we're going to go search. Let's check out Peter Colosimo. All right, so it looks like Shorewood Family Dentist is his, dentistry is his, I don't know if they call it an agency or practice or whatever. That's important to know, though. Find the little ins and outs of each industry like that and see what terms they like to use. People are real particular about stuff like that. So now we can see if he's a good candidate for SEO. So what I would do now is just kind of send him a message. And what I would not do is immediately go for the sale because they hate that. But what you want to do is just say something like, and forgive my keyboard, I know it's loud. And then just type a message saying, I was just looking to connect with some business owners in the Milwaukee area. Just saw your profile and thought I'd say hello. That's it. Now, I'm not actually going to send that because I'm not actually looking to connect with him, but I would just say that. Then I would wait like, I don't know, a week or something like that and send him another message and follow up. So basically that would be the first message in sort of a 4-message sequence that you want to send to them. The first one would obviously be the soft intro like we showed here. And then the next one you want to wait a week or two later and just say, don't say following up, that's poor wording, but just say, hey, we connected a while ago and I thought of you after I wrote this blog post on topic X, where X is something you think would be interesting to them, that I thought you might be interested in. And then that's it. And then just give them the link to it. Then a week after that, you're going to say, you're going to look for at their site or their rankings or their ads or something that you can help them with and be like, a week later, just be like, hey, I noticed that whatever it is that you found that I could improve for, that you can improve, here's how you can fix it. Feel free to check it out, or if you need some help with it, let me know. Something to that effect. And then a couple weeks after that, I recently, and don't lie if this isn't the case, but if you're in your industry, you should be able to get some sort of result. But say, I recently had some success with a dental practice or whoever it is you're prospecting in another market where I got them X in Y, whether it's, new rankings in 6 months or 6 weeks or whatever it may be. Just plug in whatever works there. I wanted to see if you'd be interested in a quick chat about it to see if I can do that for you as well. And that's kind of it. That's kind of the process if you just follow that. And you would obviously plug in that information as you went along. You would put in his business name and his client name. And I don't want to fill this out because, I'm going to share this with you, but fill that out as you go. And then just collect, a good 10 or 20 of those a day. And if you think that's kind of tedious, and it is, you can use a tool called Duck's Soup, which I'll link to in the comments. What that'll do is it's going to go through and view and connect with people automatically. You don't want to do a ton of that because LinkedIn doesn't really care for it, although that tool's has a pretty good reputation. But what that'll do is you do have a limit of these kind of cold messages you can send. So that'll go through and view profiles and connect with people for you. And then once you connect with them, you can send them more messages. So that's another way to speed this up and to be able to increase the pool of it. Now, if there's interest in this method, I can do like a series on this specifically to kind of go into more detail and that sort of thing. If there's interest, let me know in the comments below and I'll take care of that. But I think that's enough for LinkedIn. Let's jump back to our presentation and get on to the next tech prospecting. The next one is yp.com or yelp.com. I'm only going to demonstrate yp.com because I think Yelp is the devil and I don't want to go to their site any more than I absolutely have to. In fact, one time, this is kind of a tangent, but one time I went to their site and just from visiting it, they somehow knew I had and started cold calling me for the weeks afterwards. So I avoid going to their site when they can, but there's good information there. So it is what it is. Okay, so we're here at yp.com. And this is another one that's been great for me over the years for getting new clients. And basically it's, the yellow pages, but online, but there's some other things to it too. Let's continue our example. Now there's a couple different things you can do here, but the obvious one is to just go through and collect all these people's information, their website, their phone number, their business name, their personal name, all the stuff that you have on here. But what I really want to look at is this portion over here. Now what these are, and let's take this off so it'll look we'll be able to see it a little better. These are actually paid ads that they've paid to be listed on YP.com. And I don't remember the rates, but they're absolutely outrageous. They're thousands of dollars. And I don't know about you, but I can't remember the last time I went to YP.com to try to find anything. So what you can do is then just kind of go through and grab these people's site, add them to your list, and then just reach out to them and say, I saw your ad on YP.com. Can you really tell me that you're getting a return on your investment from there? Maybe even go through and find out what this spot would cost them, and then offer to do SEO for them at less than that, maybe a little bit less than that, and explain how it's going to get them an even bigger ROI. I guarantee you they're not getting their money's worth from this. So it's just literally staring you in the face, a list of people that are spending money on advertising so they know the value of marketing, and they're almost certainly not getting their money's worth. So you would just go through and fill out this sheet with their information. It's just such a great source, and it's so overlooked. So that's another great method for finding prospects that need SEO. And you could even dig deeper and figure out what terms they should be ranking for, see if they are or are not. They almost certainly are not. And then kind of, use that to help with your sales pitch as well. So that's kind of that. There's not really much more to say about that. That's kind of a great source of SEO leads if you want to check that out. And again, if you want, I'd be happy to do a video specifically on this. So just let me know in the comments if so. The next method we want to talk about and the next source is Google itself. There's lots of ways that you can pull leads right off of Google. And that includes AdWords. You can find companies that are spending on AdWords, companies that are not ranking in the top 3 in Google Maps, or companies that are not ranking on the first page organically. So these are pretty self-explanatory, but we'll go through it real quick just for the sake of demonstration. All right, continuing our dentist in Milwaukee example, we have Googled the term dentist in Milwaukee. I've opened up a couple of them just to kind of check them out. But the first thing we're going to look for here is companies that are running AdWords, and that's what these two are. AdWords meaning these ads here. I assume everybody knows that, but you never know. And the reason we're looking for that is we're looking for someone that has already spent some money on marketing and therefore knows the value of it. And they already know the value of being on the first page of Google because they're paying money to be there. Now, you want to go through and kind of collect their information. Then you want to go through and collect their information into our spreadsheet. And I'm not going to fill all that out. You don't need to watch me type, but I think you get the idea. And then you would just choose Google. Adwords, apparently. I'll need to go back and change that. And then just kind of so on. Fill out all the other fields. And then what you can really do is come up here to a tool called SpyFu. And what this is going to do, it's going to give you an idea of how much they're spending a month on pay-per-click. And you can see they're spending just under $800 a month. So it's not the highest amount that you can spend. But what you want to point out to them when you go to talk to them is that this term gets 1,600 searches a month, and right now they're paying $8.70 on average per click. If you remember in a previous video, we actually covered what those numbers mean, so just go check that out if you need to. But that pitch kind of makes itself, right? Like right now they're paying $8.70 a click, and they're probably getting, $700 worth of clicks a month. So you could probably sell them for maybe $1,000 a month, and then with the promise of getting them to page number 1 in 6 months, or however long you think it'll take. And then then they don't have to pay for clicks at all. And you'll get the same kind of traffic, if not better and more qualified traffic. So just kind of go through and find the ones that have ads and reach out to them and use that. That's one pitch that works. Obviously, you want to find a pitch that works for you. And again, I can do a video on this method in detail. I want this video to just be kind of an overview. So there's that. The next method is for Google Maps, and it's pretty straightforward, right? You want to just find somebody that's not ranking in the top 3, explain to them how many more calls that they could possibly get, calls or leads or whatever it is that particular business needs, sales, if they could get if they were shown in the top 3, and just tell them that you'll get them in the top 3. And explain how much more that'll make them, and kind of use the numbers to explain how not being there is costing them X dollars, and for Y dollars you can get them there, and then they'll start making Z dollars. So that's pretty self-explanatory, and it's kind of the same concept with Google Organic. Just come down to pages 2 through 10, not even 10, like 2 through 6. find potential ones, let's say Riverwalk Dentistry here, put them over in your spreadsheet, and then just go through and call them or email them or whatever method that you decide to use to contact them. So that's, I think, pretty straightforward. If you have any questions about that, just ask in the comments. Or again, if you want, I can go through a video where I literally go through and build out an entire prospecting list if you want me to do that as well. The final prospecting method I want to talk about is not necessarily a prospecting method, but something you should be doing as you're building your SEO agency, your business, or really any kind of business. And I call it the celebrity method. It's kind of what, I assume that most people that watch this are familiar with Gary Vaynerchuk, but it's kind of what he does, where he just puts out a lot of content and kind of makes himself an authority or a celebrity in his industry. And that just attracts people to him. And that's, to be perfectly honest, that's what I'm doing right now. I get leads every day from old YouTube videos, from ads, from blog posts, from social media posts, and you just want to be everywhere. Now, that can be a lot of work, so get someone to help you with it. If you don't have the time or you don't necessarily have the skill set, you can outsource it to Legiit, because there's a lot of great people on there, and I make money when you do that. So that's kind of the last method. It's more of a inbound as opposed to a outbound, and I almost didn't include it, but it's my favorite method. It's what's worked best for me. But just create a bunch of content, know what you're talking about, distribute it, run some ads to it, and people will start to come to you. I call it the celebrity method, and I've patterned it after Gary Vaynerchuk, who puts out all this content to make himself into a celebrity and authority in his niche. And that's how he's able to grow his agency and his other businesses and get those really big clients. So that's the last of the prospecting methods, the celebrity method. And I sound like a broken record at this point, but if you want, I'll do a video on that specifically as well. All right. By now you should have a nice, great big list of prospects that you filled out on your spreadsheet that you can go ahead and start contacting them, because prospecting is great, but if you're not going to actually take the time to sell to them, it doesn't really do you much of a good. Now, I know this part probably terrifies a lot of people. It's something that it took a long time for me to learn and get good at, but it's what it's going to take, right? But if you don't put in the work, you can't get the reward. And this is such an easy way to make a great living. I want everyone to be able to put in the work. So the first method to contacting your prospects, and it's one that not a lot of people do, but that's in person. You've gone through and you've found their website, you've found their business, you know where they are. Don't be afraid to necessarily just roll up into their business and talk to them, or go out and meet them at business events, chamber meetings, BNI, meetups, things like that as well. Find those people, and don't do it in a stalkerish way. You don't want to be like, I found your website, and no, just talk to them. Maybe you don't even tell them that you found them, but just talk to them and kind of sell them in person. It's great to be on the internet. It's great that we have all this opportunity, but for some people, especially in certain industries, nothing beats face-to-face interaction with people. So don't be afraid to just go into somebody's business and start talking to them, or to, like I say, meet them out somewhere. So in-person marketing. And I'm just going to use this as a blanket statement for the rest of this video. If you want, I'll be happy to do a video specifically on this technique as well. The next one is email. Cold email, there's a couple different ways you can go about it, and I do not recommend this shotgun approach where you just send out hundreds or thousands of emails and try to play the numbers to get someone. That will work, but it's lower quality leads, and it's just not as much. I don't know. To me, it's just not, it doesn't help your brand as much and your business as much as taking the time to do prospecting like we talked about, and then writing up an entire email sequence to send to people. That's basically the same thing that we sent on LinkedIn. You just want to connect with them, give them advice, add value, quote unquote, and just kind of take your time to help them out with no expectation of signing them, although that's of course your goal. But definitely don't just go through it for the kill. And I've actually got an email sequence below that you can use if you want, that I think will help pretty well, will work pretty well for you. So that's kind of a free download I've included in the description below, so check that out. But basically, it's kind of a similar sequence to what we did on LinkedIn. Now, the next one I know is going to really terrify people even more than the in-person, and that is telephone. Cold calling, it's probably, more people probably fear that than they do dying, but it's still the cheapest and the highest converting method, in my opinion, once you get a little bit of skill at it. Now, the thing here is it's not old school Wolf of Wall Street boiler room, just dialing numbers in the phone book. What you're doing here is you've already got a spreadsheet full of qualified prospects that you can call and have a specific angle for each one that you can kind of use to close them. You already know what they need if they're not ranking in Google, if they're spending money on YP.com, and so on. So now you have an approach to kind of get an in with them and work your way into it. Now, you're going to have to write a phone script, and I don't have one ready right now, but I can get one made for you if you're interested in that, and kind of just give it away to you guys because I think it'll help. But basically, you're going to want to have a good script, but you're going to want to be able to practice this. The more you do it, the better you're going to get. So practice this, but don't overlook this. Don't be afraid to do it. It's the number one way to go from zero to lots of money in a single day. And then the last one is snail mail. And what I mean by snail mail is hard mail, US mail, or whatever country it is that you're in. Just mail. You can send a nice handwritten sales letter to them. That works really well. Include a business card. Do that. Send it through certified mail. You can even include like something in it, kind of do like lumpy mail. For example, recently interestingly enough, I got a package in the mail that included an ice cube tray. And it was for somebody trying to pitch me on their cold emailing services. Why they didn't actually cold email me is beyond me, but it stuck out. And, I still remember it. And it was like from gold to cold or something like that, cold to gold, something like that. But anyway, had I been in need of that particular service, it would have absolutely worked. And I've had success with snail mail, or lumpy mail, as some people call it, in the past. The downside to this is it takes follow-up and it takes time and it's kind of slow, but it absolutely works. Direct mail is one of those things where everybody did it, so it didn't work anymore. So everybody stopped doing it. And now it's left the opportunity for people to do it again. It's because it works again. So snail mail is kind of the last method. Like I said, this is more of an overview than a comprehensive course on how to get SEO clients, but I think it'll get you the ball rolling. I do have a video linked below that you can check out that will give you some more detail and kind of go into a little more depth on it. I can also do videos on any of these specific techniques if you'd like, where I can go a little more in depth. Some resources for you. If you want to check out that video I was just talking about, you can view it at chrismwalker.consulting. It's linked there, and I'll link that in the description as well. It's kind of an on-demand web class you can check out, all about getting SEO clients and how to scale once you get one of them. Then, of course, you can outsource any of your work to Legiit. That barely relates to this video, to be perfectly honest, but I got to plug something. And then you can, if you want to download that prospecting workbook, that's at chrismwalker.io/prospecting. Now, I'll link to all these in the description, but I just wanted to have them there. Do me a favor again, click the like and subscribe button and the notification bell. And then go ahead and follow us on Facebook at superstarseo.group and on Instagram at superstarseo. Thanks a lot, guys, and I'll talk to you next week.